Welcome back to the Pulse on Joy News. And this afternoon, we are continuing our discussion on a very important matter, kidney and its treatment. Now, the policy agreement to help ease the financial burden on the end-stage kidney patients by the National Health Insurance Authority will start on June 1. But this, however, will last for just 6 months. The decision is currently awaiting approval from the board of the NHIA, which will see the scheme absorb 2 out of 8 dialysis sessions of kidney treatment every month. Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Dr. Da Costa Boaje, told hosts of the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 from that despite concerns on sustainability, the scheme will strive to provide support for kidney patients.
In fact, the money is available. It's just the mechanism. So, like I said, we're looking at 1st June.
Now, there have been some concern around the ability of the NHIS to actually sustain this support.
I mean, if you look at the trajectory, the insurance scheme has actually improved in terms of claims payment.
Except that this, as you've projected, will be for about 6 months. So I'm wondering, after the 6 months, what happens?
Who knows? By that time, the report would have been ready. And it will not be the first time we go to Parliament to seek approval on our budget. But again, we don't just take decisions. We take decisions based on materials. So unless they finish the work, which is very comprehensive, I will not be able to commit to future plans. But I will be able to commit to what has been approved to me by Parliament.
You basically provide primary health care.
Yeah.
This is not primary health care, yet you are taking on board. There's no guarantee you can give the people of this country that you will do this sustainably.
And there is no guarantee also that we will not be able to do it because we do not have the actuarial figures to prove that. So this is why I'm saying that I think that I believe that it's a step in the right direction because at the end of the day, we do have corporate social responsibility budget. So if we are taking 2 million from our corporate social responsibility budget to support dialysis patients, I think it's in order.
The patients are demanding clarity on the donation for dialysis provided by the Sky Group and other organizations. Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Da Costa Boaje, says the donation is meant to pay for the 380 cedis per session charged for dialysis.
No, is that a philanthropist is paying 380 for them. It's not only that, they pay for all the sessions, the 380. So we are just coming in just to support them. And like I said, what is on our budget is for the needy. You see, we're just trying to come in with an intervention that will obviously, as we say, half a loaf is better than none. That's what we can afford for now.
Back on this very matter, the president of the Kidney Patients Association, Kojo Bafwa, yesterday on the Pulse said they have been paying on their own and demands Kolebu Teaching Hospital come clear on this issue of payment and the contribution by the NGOs.
What we saw, some benevolent came in, did some presentations. I remember Zoom Lion came in, did some presentation. Reverend Bodin Ameche, Baker's House Chapel also came, did some donation, and then a couple of, but we've not, all that we heard that they made the donations, but as to where the money is, whether it to be given to us or not to be given to us, we don't know. So
the donation that came through, you are not benefiting from it in any way?
We've not. When we go like...
It hasn't affected how much you pay?
Yes. When we go, we pay 380. When the place was closed down last year, around this time, because May 21st that it was closed, around this time, last year, we went back, I think, around October. We've been paying. Every session we pay 380.
But what understanding did we get? That the donation was for the patients or for the hospital?
Most of the time we hear, Joy, you should have a clips of those things, Zoom Lion. I learned it's for the patients. That is what I heard. I was not the one that presented it, but I heard it on Joy. That is for the patient. Bwedi Nyameche, I think it was around this time when the crisis was up.
And Bwedi Nyameche is the head pastor of Maker's
House Chapel. Yeah. When the place was closed down, he also brought it to help patients. We never saw daylight of it. There was no any day. So what Bwedi Nyameche came to pay, maybe we are trying to subsidize it when you can maybe pay 100 or pay 200. We never had anything of that sort, as we sit.
And have you probed to understand what is going on?
Oh, nothing really is coming out. When you ask, nothing really is coming out. So I think Kolibu need to come clear on this one. If the man is still have been paying from that October that we went, they should refund our money back to us.
The philanthropist.
For the philanthropist, he's paying for us. But since from October
up to now,
you've
been paying from your own pocket.
We've been paying. We've been paying the 380.
Full cost recovery, cash and carry,
yes,
if you like.
Yes, one we pay the 380. So if the philanthropist is still doing it, which I know is first car, he has done it for about 7 to 8 years when we went there. So if he's still doing it, as at last October that we went there, he's still been paying. Then why were you also paying from last October up to now? Probably like by now we'll not be crying about this for one. I will have something in our pocket to be doing this for one because we've been paying.
And then it takes me back to my earlier question about whether you've asked questions and you are not getting a response, or you've not asked the question at all.
When Kolibu reopened and we were going, before the closure, we were not paying. But when Kolibu reopened, we were going. We were made to understand we are coming back to pay. We asked few questions about the First Sky group, and they learned that they are having 1 or 2 negotiations with him. I think there was 1 or 2 things, which I don't have full briefing about it. So we were waiting. So until that thing is done, we are supposed to do the payment till First Sky come back. So like I sit here, what Dr. Docosta is saying, if it's true, then they are going to, that means they are presuming that the man is paying 380 for us, and they are going to pay 111 to top it up to make it the
491.
991. So the question maybe I'm asking now is that if that be the so, is it now that the man is coming back to pay, or all along the man has been paying?
Well, we will stay a little longer on this matter, and very soon I'll bring in an expert in this area, Kwame Sapono-Siedu, who is a CDD fellow. This is, he watches this space very well. But before we do that, there's growing anxiety among kidney patients across the country. As they say, the increase in the cost of dialysis treatment has left them with no option than to prepare to die. Very serious. Now, in the first part of our dialysis series, features editor Rachel Kojo tells the story of disappointment, anger, and betrayal. Listen to this.
I want the government to support me so I can live to fulfill my dream of becoming a nurse.
Last year, 15-year-old Priscilla Sante's young life was cut short. Her dream of becoming a nurse unfulfilled, leaving a void in the hearts of many. Her mother's voice joined the choruses across the country in calling on government to reduce the cost of dialysis in order for many to live. Priscilla was not the last to die. Many have died, and countless numbers are in the queue waiting to die because they can't afford to pay the cost of dialysis. In 2023, a relentless advocacy for the cost of dialysis to be reviewed downwards was waged, but the response to the cries of patients has rather been met with an increase. 33-year-old Salas Mensah, teary after hearing the announcement of the increase.
490 for a day. So in that week, when it comes to it, costs you about 1,000. And that's week, if you take 1 week for a day and in a month. 1 week in a month, I pay about 1,000 Ghana for a week. That is what I paid of.
He briskly calculates the amount of money he would now have to pay in order to live.
For now, all we are asking is, we please beg the government. We are patient. And there are people out there that are suffering for us. They even don't know us. But they help us because they love us. So all we please is, we please the government to help us and reduce the price for a bit. Because as for me, I don't have anybody. A guy saw me in Kumasi and then he told me to help me. If the price go high like this, I'm crying for the guy now. What else will you do? My biggest fear for now is if the price go higher, I'm scared of if the guy will let me, or I have never even know. He was the friend of my mom, and he told my mom he helped me. So every week he has been paying that 12.5 for 3 days, and 7 million every week. That is what he has been paying. But now that the price is about to go higher, I'm scared of what is going on to happen soon. Is he going to continue like this, or he will tell us the price is too high? So that is now my greatest fear. If he can help, please, we need his help now. In the name of our God, Almighty God, please. And if the government can help us with the finance, we pray that he will help us.
I was working at GES. I came, a year I came retirement, and I came then this thing started. It has been a very hard because of the money aspect of it. And right now too, it has been increased. So it is not easy.
Gabriel Mensah retired from the GES last year. Shortly after his retirement, he was diagnosed of the diseases. The weight of this announcement is evident in his voice.
The payment aspect is serious. Serious. We are going to die. We are going to die. How much am I bringing home? How much am I bringing home? And if I'm paying this amount every 2 days, it's not easy.
Patients here are angered by this announcement. Their anger is sandwiched with the never-ending plea to government to reconsider its decision. For 37-year-old Jackson, government can't simply send them to their early grave. Something urgent must be done.
Even the people were dying because of the previous cost. They were not able to afford the costs involved. I don't understand the government. I don't understand the managers of these dialysis, whatever. I'm so surprised. I am so surprised. Many souls are perishing as a result of financial constraints. I started with a lot of people here, but a lot or many of them have died. Many. And due mainly to the financial constraints. Adding medication, lab costs, and dialysis fee, very difficult. So sometimes you think that, oh, Charlie, if you die, cry, it will be okay. So that your burden on the family and the friends will be over, and they use the money to do other things.
For these cocktail of stories told differently by different patients at the dialysis unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital reveal despair, disappointment, anger, and betrayal by government.
It's kind of getting us more devastated.
For Thomas Vincent Khan, this is his 11th year being on the dialysis machine. He is surprised the loud voices that were raised by patients and other advocates could not get government to reduce the cost of dialysis.
Because already with the 350, we always struggle to even come to the hospital for dialysis. So for such an announcement, especially at the time that we've made a lot of noise asking for a reduction, even on the 350 that was being charged, and then we wake up and the next thing we are hearing is that rather the prices are going to go up. It's just very, very devastating. It compounds everything, every problem that we are going through. It has never been easy. I have been on dialysis for 11 years, and throughout the 11 years, it has never been an easy road.
For each second that the dialysis machine here beeps, death keeps its eagle eyes on the patients, ready to snuff out the life in them.
It got to a time somebody came and told us that she wants the line to be removed because she knows she cannot afford the daily session. That was around 350 cedis per session. And then she told us we should remove the line so that she will just go and die because she cannot continue the session again. In fact, we did everything. We tried to source funds for him, but there's nothing we could do because the mind was made that she was fed up. Looking at she had children in the house, and every week she keeps coming here pumping money, and then it seems there's no hope for her, so she decided to end it.
Head nurse at the dialysis unit here at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, Eunice DeGraft Ishent, says being on dialysis is like a death sentence and a lot of support is needed to help the management of the diseases.
Then sometimes, most of them, they come in the acute phase. So even getting the access, the temporal catheters, and then starting their first 2 or 3 sessions is a problem. So in these instances, management will come in so that we will start the dialysis as the relatives also go and look for funds to come and support.
And we have more such stories coming your way on Joy News and, of course, on Joy 99.7 FM and all social media platforms. We also hear from the Chief Executive Officer of the Comfortnotti Teaching Hospital. Also, they have their own peculiar issue, apart from the fact that they are not getting any support beyond what government provide them. They are asking spirited Ghanaians to come to the dialysis center and help those who are in need. We'll hear from the Chief Executive shortly. But now let me bring in Kwame Esiedu-Sapon, pharmacist and research fellow with CDD Ghana, and he joins me via Zoom. Kwame, it's always a pleasure to have you here on Pulse. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So I'm curious to know, I know you live in London. Has it ever been a case that the whole of the UK, have had to discuss issues of kidney treatment and how difficult or how capital intensive it is for patients to endure? Has it ever been, a topical issue in the UK?
Well, globally, health is always a topical issue. So I would say kidney problems have not been on the space to be discussed, but there's always one health issue or another being discussed globally in every country. And so it would be disingenuous to say that there are not issues that come up when it comes to health that are discussed. The difference is that they discuss it with the aim of finding solutions. Whereas in our case, it's often a situation whereby we seem to be firefighting, and that's where the concern is.
The Ghana's approach, and I remember when this issue became topical last year, we were part of the discussion, and we had a lot of promises and how we're going to fix this matter. Now, Parliament approved the fees and charges and submitted by the Health Ministry and all other government agencies, and now that is the fees and charges they are going with. The Health Insurance Authority, main goal is to offer primary services. Now, they've also zoomed into this particular area because it's of utmost importance or of concern to the Republic. They say that they've gotten Parliament to approve 2 million Ghana cedis for the NHI. Now, their intention is to use this money to support those in need. For the next 6 months, there is no clarity as to the long-term solution. How do you react to this position taken by the NHI? You think it is commendable?
You see, Elton, that's why I started by saying the biggest problem I have is often it seems we are firefighting, and I'll explain. You said 2 million has been approved, and it's supposed to be for the needy. How is the needy determined? Already we know from the statistical service that they said 80% of public sector workers earn below 3,000 Ghana cedis.
Right.
Now here's the thing. The fees had to go up anyway because at the time that the hospitals and renal facilities were asking for an increment, the dollar to CD ratio was 11.3 to 1. $1 was 11.3. Now we are around 15.8. And most of these consumables are imported into the country, so they are bought with dollars. So if the prices hadn't gone up, the renal units would not have been able to run. And that would have created even a more serious problem because the patients will have to go into the public sector. Okay, so if we agree that they have to go up to 491, which is not even full cost recovery as far as I'm concerned when you look at the numbers, what does that mean for the patient? It means the patient has to look for something like 50,064 cedis a year.
Yes.
Just to stay alive, right? But then you have a country where 8% of public service workers earn 36,000 a year. So basically, every renal patient in Ghana can be classified as needy. That's the first point I want to make.
Right.
And then when you look at our prevalence rate of renal dialysis patients, it's 38.3 per 1 million people. So if you do the average calculation, you are looking at 1,264 patients currently in Ghana on renal dialysis. We know the number is just around 1,003.
Yes, yes, almost 2,000.
But I am using the prevalence rate to make. So if you have 1,264 people and you are taking 2 sessions per each patient per month for 6 months, you do the math, 1,264 times 491 times 2 times 36 weeks, because 6 months is 36 weeks.
Yes.
And you come up with 7.5 million. The Parliament of Ghana has approved 2 million, so we are short of 5.5 million.
Yes.
So primarily, unless the NHIS finds extra money, the money that has been approved is inadequate to start with. Then you have the second problem of these people have to do, at least they have to do 12 sessions a month, 3 a week. But most of them are doing 2 because of lack of finance. So they are supposed to do 8 a month, and you've taken 2, so they need to find money for 6. So what they need to find every month is 6 times 491. So just under 3,000 Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to their salary.
Yes.
So even if they don't eat, drink, pay rent, pay electricity, buy credit, they still would be needy. So I ask myself, when I look at the numbers as I've enumerated, when our parliamentarians and our leaders are approving such fees and charges and are approving funds to help the needy, do they do the arithmetic at all? For me, that's the biggest problem. And that's why I say we keep firefighting. Because if you don't do the numbers, it is nice to say, oh, I have 2 million, and then everyone is making a lot of noise. But when you unpick the numbers, you suddenly realize that the 2 million is much ado about nothing. So I love the intention of the director of the National Health Insurance Scheme, because he's showing that he wants to do something. But unfortunately, the money he has is woefully enough.
But he also makes the point that there's ongoing actuarial science studies to advise on a permanent solution to this matter. So this is just temporary. The 2 million is just temporary.
Well, Elton, the actual maths, you can do it in the studio. I can help you do it. And let's do it now. So everyone is doing 8 sessions. So you multiply 8 sessions by 491. You're assuming that they are going to buy their own medicines, they are going to buy their own food for eating. So you are just talking about prices. So you multiply 2 by 491, and then you multiply by 52, because there are 52 weeks in the year. That brings you to 50,064.
Yes.
So if you multiply the 50,064 by 1.264, the NHIS needs to find 65.3 million Ghana cedis every year, as long as our prevalence rate remains at 38.3 per million. The point is that this government, in its wisdom, has capped the funding that goes to the NHIS.
Right.
So already they do not have the full complement of their funding. And the dollar is also playing its games. Where do you think they are going to find the 65.3 million? And that is why, for me, when we are having conversations like this, I ask myself, do our leaders think through our problems? And that is why today I said on the Super Morning Show that our leaders have increasingly demonstrated that they do not want to solve our problems. It's not that they are incapable. I disagree. Because they can vote money. Look, we have this problem and we've been doing the numbers. Yes, we have a vice president who is campaigning to be president, whose priority is to release funds to pay alawa. We have a president who makes a pledge to God and digs a pit for all that money. But meanwhile, both of them sit in cabinet and approve that the funding to NHIS should be cut. You cannot make it historian.
So therefore, when the NHIS say that it can be sustainable, because even now they are paying between 200 and 300 million Ghana cedis every month in claims. So if you want to look at the cost of dialysis compared to how much they are paying every month to hospitals and clinics across the country, it is possible that they can accommodate it. However, there are issues that they need to deal with. The capping, for example, and also non-releases or untimely releases of funds to the scheme for them to meet their budgets and other issues.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I am not saying for any stretch of imagination that it is not doable. I have said, and I'm on record as saying that I am yet to see any country with a very good, viable, functioning health system where patients pay out of pocket for renal dialysis. I've not seen any health system that. Most health systems have these things paid for through insurance schemes. Because irrespective of how affluent you are, wherever in the world, renal dialysis can bankrupt you. Unless you are in the top 5% of the well-to-do people globally. So I am not saying by stretch of imagination that we cannot do it or the NHS. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we fail to prioritize these diseases to the point that we render the NHS incapable of doing it. There's a distinction. We render them incapable of doing it, and that is what scares me. If they want to do it, because almost 85% of their funding is currently capped.
Right.
If that is released to them, yes, if you look at the fact that they have their funds capped and they are paying 200 million, and you divide 65 million, or let's say even if you said 65 million, you divide by 12, they should be able to pay it. Because you are talking about just about 5.3, 5.4 million, and on top of 200 million is no money. But when they are capped, that's a bigger conversation.
Right. The other matter, perhaps, and I want to ask you about your recommendation going forward, is the situation in the Ashanti region, where the Chief Executive of Confanote Teaching Hospital told us this morning, and we will bring in that interview to our viewers soon, that as of now, there is no treatment regime for children diagnosed with kidney. And so if you are a kid and you are diagnosed, it's almost like preparing you for your grave. And that for me is unacceptable.
But this has been known, Elton. I'm surprised you're bringing it up today. At the top leadership forum that was held by Joy in October last year, of which I was one of the panelists,
right.
One of the renal consultants said that. And he actually said it was even more grim than my friend and brother Ochadai said. He said, every child that gets it dies. So you see, that is why I'm saying that our leaders do not want to solve our problem. Because what Professor Ochadai is saying is a retracement of something that has been known and was said at the top leadership event under the auspices of multimedia, in which the presidential advisor on health was one of the panelists.
Right.
So you see, and that's why I'm trying to say that, Elton, we know our problems. We just don't prioritize them because they do not drive votes. And the thing I keep telling everybody is, when you get renal disease and you get to end stage, no one cares whether you're NBC or MPP or CPP or UP. You would face the music yourself. So you need to be having a conversation that encompasses a health crisis. But what do we do? If you went on social media now and you put this up, you would see us divide ourselves along party lines.
Absolutely.
Arguing. And that's why we are not solving our problems. And our leaders know that that is what we do. And therefore, we do not put them under pressure. So they get away with digging pits and saying that we'll pay Alawa in 2 years. Because that is what people will shout about. Not the fact that someone died, because every child dies when they get renal failure. That is not a priority.
Let me share with you some few statistics so that I can let you go. And this is research done by Dr. Elliot Tano at the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital. Number of dialysis centers, there are 51 dialysis centers in Ghana, 40 currently functioning, 65% are located in Greater Accra region. There is inequitable distribution of centers with 65 in Accra, 17.5% in Ashanti. 7 other regions have only 1 center. There are 299 dialysis machines total with a medium of 6 machines per center. This equals 9.7 machines per million population. Now, it goes on to say that 7 regions covering 18.5% of the population lack any dialysis center. 92% of estimated kidney failure patients have no access to dialysis. As we go forward, what would be your recommendation?
You see, first and foremost, is that something we didn't know? I know that there was a research, I don't know the date of this research, but I know there was research done in 2013 that pointed to similar findings. And so the first question you ask by way of recommendation, you have a prevalence rate of 38.3 per million of patients who have to be on dialysis. And you have machines available 7 per million. You have a disparity of 31 per million, right? So yes. The first thing to do is to look at the statistics and start to work upwards to get at least some form of parity with our prevalence rates. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is that 100% the NHIS must find a way of funding this, but it must come with adequate funding. Otherwise, if they do not have adequate funding, then what's going to happen is that they would fail to pay the providers. The providers would then not be able to provide a service on the NHIS.
And these are mostly private individuals.
Yes. So the second thing is that capping that must go. And finally, the third thing is we need to have a broader conversation around chronic disease, generally in Ghana, and how we fund our health system. Because if we have that broader conversation and we have the funding priorities right, we wouldn't be having these spot conversations. Today is renal dialysis. I know there are issues when it comes to chemotherapy in cancer. Yes. There are issues elsewhere. We do not need to be firefighting out there. We need to have a broader conversation and put our health system on a better footing. If we have political leaders who can make a promise to God to build a cathedral and dig a pit, they should learn to make promises to humans to keep us alive. And the only way they can keep us alive is to give us a thriving health system. So that's the final thing.
And because we touch on that, we are in the election year, you've been listening to them. Does anyone convince you of their commitment to the health sector?
At the moment, not yet. But like I have said, we need to make health an electoral conversation. And there are a number of articles I've started putting out to make health an electoral conversation, because without it becoming an electoral conversation, these guys would not solve our problems.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kwame, for your time this afternoon. Kwame Esiedu Sapon is a pharmacist and a research fellow with the CDD Ghana. Now, we'll stay a little longer on this matter because the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital has appealed for support to begin a life-saving medication for children requiring dialysis treatment. Already, kidney transplant is available on a limited scale nationwide. Children benefit from peritoneal dialysis for acute kidney injury without any rescue intervention for those with end-stage renal failure. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the management of Konfanoti, they've disclosed their readiness to provide the services upon receiving support from stakeholders. Nana Boachi Adam has more in this report.
Machines. The hospital itself, using its IGF, has procured 3 brand new dialysis machines. We are waiting for them. There's a company that is giving us 2 brand new dialysis machines. We are also waiting. We are hoping that by the end of this month, we would have about 12 dialysis machines running. One major thing we are looking at is dialysis for children. As it is, it appears that dialysis for children does not exist. Usually you do not have dialysis going on for children. And so it's one area we are looking at to give children the opportunity to live irrespective of the fact that they may have developed end-stage renal failure.
Professor Ochre Ade-Mensah says the hospital is seeking support from stakeholders to purchase machines for such treatments.
When the issues of dialysis came up and Kolebu was in the news in respect of price changes and all that, I remember in a discussion, if I remember correctly, that I made the point that we buy from the same source, the same supplier, consumables and all that. And so there's a need for us to also push our prices up. But Kolebu took that step. And subsequently, I think that the Fees and Charges Committee of Parliament have sat and reviewed the fees. But Kolebu are lucky to have, this is the first care group, subsidizing the payment for dialysis for.
Well, so this is a matter we will stay on at least from now to, for the time being, cancer and it-related issues. But the question I have for you this afternoon is that, are you tired of the same political rhetoric? Do you believe it is time for a change that truly represents the voices of our youth, women and children? Introducing Nana Kwame Bediako, the presidential candidate who is not just promising change, but actively working to make it happen. Nana Bediako is not your typical politician. He is a visionary leader with a passion for making our country better through innovative industrial revolution. Together, we can change the political narrative and create a government that truly represents the interests of all citizens. Join us now on this journey to build a better and inclusive future for all by contributing to the Save Ghana Fund campaign. Your support, no matter the amount, is not just a donation, it is actually an investment in a shared desire for a more prosperous, equitable, and better nation. You can visit www.nkb.com.gh, or you can dial star 887 star 2024 hash, that's star 887 star 2024 hash to donate. And so we can have this going on. Let's do some other story now. Now it is just a vast land at Sapaliga, a border community in the Upper West region, where both the young and old from Ghana and Burkina Faso go to engage in illegal mining without any state authority preventing them from doing so. Now, in a move facilitated by the Ghana Boundary Commission, the Upper East Regional Security Council have asked the miners to pack their equipment and leave. The Ghana Boundary Commission is also facilitating the construction of a road to the area to make patrols easier for the security agencies. There is more in this report by my colleague Maswell Agbagba. So we'll bring you that report shortly, but I'm delighted to say that joining us via Zoom is Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia. Doctor, Major General, it's a pleasure to have you here on the post. Good afternoon, sir. And if you can unmute for me. Right, so we'll have General's attention so we can have this conversation. They are in the Upper East and, making sure that our land borders are protected. Let me try and see if I can have General's attention. General, good afternoon again, and I'm hopeful that you can hear me now. Yes, we're so struggling to have audio connection with him. We'll work on that shortly and then have his attention. We'll take a short break and return with more on the pulse. Distinguished patronage of His Excellency John Ajokum Kufuor, former President of the Republic of Ghana, is pleased to invite you to the Open for Business, the Africa Trade and Innovation Conference. The conference is designed to provide a critical and independent platform for discussion on the new trade pacts under the AFTA and trade in Africa, and undertake a situational review of the adoption of and implementation of the AFTA since 2021, and in the process examine the challenges confronting the smooth takeoff of the regime. The details of the conference are as follows. Now, it is starting tomorrow, 16th, and then Friday, 17th May 2024, times 9 a.m. To 4 p.m. each day. Venue is the Kofi Ohene Kunedu Auditorium, UPSA campus. Visit the social media platforms of UPSA Law School for information on how to participate in the conference, or call 0245347946. And that is coming from the UPSA Business School. Now, let me take you back to Sapeliga, a border community in the Upper West region where both the young and old from Ghana and Burkina Faso go to engage in illegal mining without any state authority preventing them from doing so. Now, by the move facilitated by the Ghana Boundaries Commission, the Upper East Regional Security Council, they've asked the miners to pack their equipment and leave. The Ghana Boundary Commission is also facilitating the construction of a road to the area to make patrols easier for the security agents. There's more in this report after we speak to Dr. Major General Emmanuel Kutia.
Hundreds of illegal miners have gathered on this site. Many of them attempted fleeing after seeing the personnel from the Upper East Regional Security Council and the Ghana Boundary Commission, but they were asked to stay. Here, one of them who spoke on behalf of the group, Abil Fatau, said some of them used the money from the Galamsey to fund their education.
It's going to be big addition to the society as where we all live. All of us depend on this. Apart from this, there's no source of income we get. On the there's no dam, apart from rainy season we farm. There's no dam around here that they would think that we should go and farm. There's no dam, nothing is there. Where we get to eat is scarce here. The women also come and sell their pure water. All the farm, those are the market. This is where they all depend on. This is where they all depend. They make their interest on everything. They make it on this. So if they are asking us to vacate on this, and without giving us another alternative to also go and get something on it, I think it's going to be a big harm to the society.
The Ghana Boundary Commission facilitated the exercise to clamp down on the activities of the illegal miners. Its Commissioner General, Major General Emmanuel Kutia, said the illegal miners, through the activities, continue to destroy Ghana's boundary pillars with Burkina Faso. He said this can lead to disagreements between the two countries if the boundaries are not well defined.
There were a lot of interferences so far as our boundary line is concerned. Some of these activities led to the removal of international boundary pillars, and for that matter, there was no clarity so far as the markings of the boundary is concerned. And then, because we have quite a sizable number of people coming from Burkina Faso to do a lot of illegal activities here, if we don't take care, whereas these boundary pillars are removed, some of our territories can be taken or probably can be declared as part of Burkina Faso because these markings are not visible on the ground. That is the reason why, we have decided to facilitate the construction of the patrol routes, and that also serves as a marking to the international boundary pillar because just 20 meters away from it. One of the reasons why actually we facilitated the REGSEC to come here is for them to understand what is ongoing here, so that REGSEC plays a very key role so far as the territorial sovereignty of the country is concerned, especially regions that have boundaries with our neighbors. So we work in collaboration with REGSEC to ensure that our boundaries are secure.
Aside from degrading the environment, the head of the Upper East Regional Security Council and the Regional Minister Hafiz bin Saleh says terrorists can exploit the unregulated and illegal mining ongoing in the area to fund their nefarious activities.
No. So this time, as I indicated, we've come on a friendly mood. The next time it's not going to be this way. Right now, Faso, there are insurgents there, and there are terrorists who want to infiltrate into our country. And to be able to perpetrate what they are doing, they need finance. So they engage in what you people are doing. So in order to save the people of this country, we want to stop issues of this nature so that people don't have means of funding their nefarious activities. So please, it is for that reason that we are putting this measure in place, so that to save this country and to save the people of this country. We are enjoying peace, and we must appreciate the peace we are enjoying.
The minister ordered the illegal miners to pack the equipment and leave the area, citing the destruction of the environment and important boundary pillars.
Please, if you want to continue to operate here, as I indicated, do the right thing. We are going to contact the Mineral Commission so that they make this place available to prospective miners, so that you'll be licensed, and then we'll give you the opportunity to operate. But what you are doing currently is unacceptable. It's highly unacceptable. So please take note and know that this is the last time that we are coming here, and this is a stern warning from the Regional Security Council. So take note and begin to pack your tools, right?
The construction of a road that will ensure regular patrols by the security agencies has stalled due to lack of funding. The head of the project is appealing for support to ensure it is completed.
So, however, there are some outstanding works that need to be completed, and this include construction of culverts on the various water crossing points, as you saw some was coming, and also laying of the gravel surface. So, on the whole, the total completed works is about 20%, just about 20%.
What are you saying?
Yes, sir. So we anticipate that within 3 months, when funding is made available, we should be able to finish. And the major challenge that we have here is the lack of funds. So despite the fact that we've raised an interim payment certificate, we are awaiting payment. The gross amount is about 7.4 million. The payment certificate is currently at the road fund and awaiting payment. So once payment is received, we will swiftly move to site and then commence project activities.
Right, so let's explore this matter and let's see if we cannot connect successfully to the Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Dr. Emmanuel Kotia. Major General, good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse.
Good afternoon, Elton, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Right, perfect. So, I mean, I'm looking at faces of young men engaging in what can be described as illegal mining. And I'm asking, to what extent is the activities affecting your work as you work to secure the borders of this country?
The work is affecting the boundaries because they are exploring all aspects, including the destruction of our international boundary pillars, to be able to carry on their illegal activities. And the interesting thing is that majority of these personnel, the youth, they come from Burkina Faso. And that is the interesting aspect of it. So these activities have been ongoing, and once we allow them to go, the boundary pillars would be dislocated, and clearly we might not be able to identify our territory within that area. And if you don't take time, they can then claim the territory because of the prospects of mining in the area.
But also having foreign nationals engaging in illegal mining on our land itself has its own security issues.
Oh, yes. But for the Ghana Boundary Commission, we are more particular about our international boundaries to preserve our territorial integrity as a country. That is our main concern. The Minerals Commission and other agencies, plus the Regional Security Council, are tackling the issue of the illegal mining in the area.
So if I should zoom in on the activities and the fear that it may affect our boundary lines, is it already compromised?
No, we stopped these activities in 2021, and then they shifted the activities inland. There were some boundary pillars that were removed when we went in 2021, even though we've not been able to restore those pillars. Of course, the activities have been curtailed because of the work that is ongoing at the location now by the 48th Engineer Regiment, which is a military unit undertaking this, and then the regular patrols that have started now along that area by the Ghana Immigration Service.
But you know, you've been on this for some time now. What will you say as a country, and in terms of the work that this body that you represent, the work that you've done, that we can go to sleep safely, knowing that our territorial integrity is intact?
Yes, but then in specific terms to Sapaliga, I think that almost the same strategy that we use in dollar power may work. For me, because of the way Sapaliga is very close to the border and the way it's also isolated, one measure can be that we should consider probably to declare the place a security zone so that the military can go in and close up the place and bar anybody from going there. That would be one measure. Another measure is for the Minerals Commission probably to initiate moves to encourage investors to come in and then also allocate portions for community mining, license the community to do mining in that area. These are the alternatives that can be available.
The regional minister gave them an ultimatum, pack and leave. And obviously, unless this is enforced strictly, because of the way illegal mining has become a thorny issue, especially in the southern part of the country, I'm failing to see how that can be, that can be achieved.
I think that the regional minister wants to build a consensus within his regional security council, because he went with the members for them to have a first-hand assessment on the ground. So I believe that an action will be taken. So far as security is concerned, it's decentralized in our system. So the regional security councils have a say, the district security council have a say. They may make recommendations to the National Security Council, and decisions can be taken at that level for implementation.
But I do understand that the Boundary Commission has a proposal on illegal mining to Parliament.
No, we don't have a proposal to Parliament. What we have submitted to Parliament is a new act that reinforces our work and to also upgrade the old act to meet international standards and international best practices.
So this bill is receiving the consideration of the House?
Yes, it's at the consideration, at the committee stage for consideration, and we are hoping that the next sitting of Parliament, they should be able to pass. We're hoping that the last sitting of Parliament, it was supposed to have been passed, but then unfortunately that was not done. But we're hoping that in the next sitting, it should be expedited so that we'll be able to be, because there are certain aspects of the commission that needs to be in the legal framework or the legal document that is the act, as an act of Parliament that can strengthen the work of the commission. Otherwise, the commission is weak in some areas so far as implementation of its decisions are concerned.
You have been on tours in the Volta region and other parts of the country, checking to ensure that our boundary lines are secured. I remember in one of those interesting stories where one of the pillars was found in somebody's room and in the drinking spot and all of that. As you work through this, and hopefully I'm sure that there will come a time that you bring your work to a close, are we nearing satisfactory stage? If you can update us on that.
The work of the Boundary Commission will not come to a close. It's a commission that has been set up, and throughout Africa we have boundary commissions. It is now that most countries are establishing their commissions.
Right.
And let me use this forum to announce that because of the work and the success story of the Ghana Boundary Commission, the first organized West African Heads of Boundary Commissions meeting is going to take place in Accra in July. This has been sponsored by ECOWAS, and that is something that is fundamental. The other thing I need to mention is that because both the African Union and ECOWAS have realized that Ghana is a success story so far as the work of the Commission was concerned, the first experience sharing workshop for SADC countries, Southern African Development Commission countries, was held in Accra to educate them on how to establish boundary commission. So we're on a good grounding. We are only hoping that our bill would be passed as early as possible so that we would get the fundamentals right so far as the legal framework is concerned.
And if I get it right, some other countries are looking at the success story of Ghana to implement same in their own countries.
Yes, that is right. That is right.
And that, for me, the ultimate goal may bring peace, because when everybody is so clear in terms of their boundaries, and I'm sure there will not be, misgivings and violence here and there, knowing very well that these are clearly demarcated.
Yes, that is right. So the key thing is that the boundaries must be well demarcated. All boundaries must be well demarcated. And now, one other aspect that we need to understand is that the African Union has come up with what we call the African Union Convention on Cross-Border Cooperation that allows various countries to have cross-border issues and discussions. Now, let me give you an example. For instance, when you have a boundary pillar, it serves two countries. So a boundary pillar on the Ghana-Burkina Faso border serves both Ghana and Burkina Faso. Distances before from Burkina Faso and before from Ghana are normally called the buffer zones. And these are buffer zones that...
Connection issues there, and it looks like we've lost Major General Dr. Emmanuel Kotia on the line. Internet, they are in the Upper West region working to secure our borders and our boundary pillars. So we'll reconnect with them in subsequent bulletins, but I guess clearly the crux of the issues have well been laid out. Now, let's talk about pension and locked-up investment, because the Locked-Up Investment Holders Forum is demanding the revocation of the licenses of NDK Financial Services and other financial institutions that have failed to pay their deposited funds. The group picketed at the Ministry of Finance earlier today when they clashed with the Deputy Finance Minister over their locked-up funds. My colleague Kenneth Jesse was there and has this report.
Have you seen the The Locked-Up Investment Holders Forum has given government until next week, Wednesday, to address their concerns, or they will picket the Finance Ministry again. The members picketed the Finance Ministry earlier today to demand the ministry to revoke the licenses of the financial institutions that have failed to pay their deposited funds. Yes.
It's our own sweat that we keep there
Yes.
for our tomorrow. It's investment. We didn't put it there to get any profit. We put it there for tomorrow. If we are sick and we are not well, so that we can take it to feed our family. And now, about 4 or 5 years now, we are not getting anything. Respond, nothing. We are here. We are hungry. We need our money. We need our money. I'm Georgina Tenge. I need my money. I need my money to feed my family. I need my money to attend to my hospital bills. I need my money. I need my money.
Annoyed with this government. Not finance. The bigger picture. I'm a Ghana. When a Ghana boy misbehaves, they will tell you, Onyehi efefle. It is because your mother did not bring you up properly. So they will take the problem from you to your mother. So I'm transferring the problem from finance to the government.
Why is that?
Why should that not be? Tell me. Who is responsible for finance in this country? Who is? I thought we were having a discourse.
It's the government.
Sure. So who should we blame? Who should we blame?
For how long are you going to pick it here?
You want to know how long?
Yes.
I pray that you not get into a situation one day. You know that you do it till your aim is achieved. You do it till your aim is achieved. Do you know how old I am? Do you know what that money is meant for? Do you know how long I have saved it for? And within the twinkle of an eye, someone will come in and with a flimsy excuse, wipe it all off. In 2016, when they were coming to power, it was more than $50,000. Now compute $50,000 with the current rate. The government will say, when yellow womba.
It's over the bar. My frustration is seriously over the bar. I've been on pension for the past 4 years, and it's a lifelong savings. Whilst you are in employment, you plan against the future. You make savings against the future for any eventuality, so that when you are in retirement, you wouldn't become a burden on your children. You have worked for so many years. You've made a lot of investments. You've come home and you cannot access your funds. It is very, very frustrating. It is very, very annoying. And you don't know what is really the problem. We don't really know what is the problem. Look, the very people that granted these companies the certificates to operate, DOG, Securities and Exchange, the regulators, what are they doing? Are they not aware of the challenges that we, the pensioners, are going through? Are they not aware of the problems that the investors of these financial houses and savings loan schemes are going through? They are very much aware.
The picketers got frustrated when the Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. Stephen Amwa, arrived at the ministry and refused to grant them audience.
That you cannot even send the guy to your office to talk to him? Is it not an insult? Hasn't he worked in Ghana for the past over 30 years? Where you were schooling, where the guy was working. That you cannot send him to your office to attend to you? What kind of life is this? What kind of impudence in this?
So yes. Yeah.
Send him to your office and talk to him. Send him to your office and talk to him. It's an insult for you to talk to you.
You should go to the office and talk to
him. You don't have any respect for your father.
There are several correspondences to this effect.
What kind of impudence in this? What kind of impudence in this? We have worked for so many years to bring you what you are. What work have you done?
Some are keeping it under their beds, and we have decided to invest it. Some have decided to keep it in their beds. Wait in the bone. We'll come back and come again until you give the clearance. We'll continue coming here until you give us the clearance. Sticker, hear what we are saying. Sticker, hear what we are saying. You are there talking to doctor about this issue. If your predecessors have not told you, go and ask for it. Your predecessors, they know that we sent letters here, and we've sent reminders since last year. So do the needful.
The convener of the group, Dr. Anani Entry, who was eventually allowed to speak to the Deputy Finance Minister, said Dr. Amwa assured of government's response as soon as possible. But Dr. Entry says if the response does not arrive within a week, they will be back to picket.
The minister is a minister of state, Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. Amwa, that's the name. Dr. Amwa, he called me and wanted to find out what was happening. Initially, there were some that we have to resolve it, the confusion but we had a fruitful discussion. I have briefed him what has happened so far. It looks as if he didn't have knowledge about what is happening. And I can agree. If sometimes it hasn't come to your desk, you wouldn't know. So what has happened is that I have briefed him. He now understands the issues. He will go and find the letter. The petition. I've told him the petition was delivered by me myself to the office of the minister, so it cannot get missing anywhere. Plus the reminder. So he's going to take it up and have a discussion with the minister and give me or give us their response as soon as practicable. I've told him we are coming here every Wednesday. And therefore, if we get a response and the response is such that we don't have to come, we won't come. If the response is not what will let us not come here, we will come. So for today, I think the weather, the sun is too hot. We are suffering. We have got here our message across. Now, if he didn't know, he has known. But I don't want to go into administrative to ask you why don't you know, because we brought it to the ministry. So let us allow them, now that he has also seen has understood the matter, and is now going to look at the letter. I say he will find the letter. I don't have a copy of the letter to be given to him. So he should find the letter and discuss with the appropriate, the minister and whatever other people they have to discuss, and tell us what they are going to do. According to him, when they see the letter, when he sees the letter, after the discussion, they will also have a discussion with Bank of Ghana. Then they can come back to us. He has taken my number and said he will call me as soon as they have done this.
The depositors have accused the Finance Ministry of refusing on several occasions to grant them audience and listen to their plea. Now, some of their pleas include declaring some of these financial institutions insolvent and revoking their licenses. They say some of the financial institutions are still operating but are refusing to pay them their funds. From the Ministry of Finance, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Right, to some other stories, and the Attorney General Godfred Yewadame has defended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, who has been facing intense backlash from some activists and the NDC for reconstituting the panel of judges, hearing an appeal filed by former Kokobo CEO Dr. Stephen Opuni. Dr. Opuni is appealing the decision of the Court of Appeal, affirming the decision of the High Court not to restart his trial, in which he is accused of causing financial loss to the state. But the Attorney General, in a statement, says all criticism are unfounded. Former Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Inu Safoseni, says the Chief Justice is setting a dangerous precedent.
Development in the Supreme Court in connection with the Opuni case and the paneling of the court is a very dangerous development. My information is that the appellant, and that is Opuni and Co., filed their written submissions in January. The Attorney General replied to the submissions, filed his response in February. The Supreme Court gave a date for judgment only for a new panel to be constituted to sit on the matter. Now, what I know of the practice of the Supreme Court is that after the submission of written judgments, the court might meet in conclave. And I suspect that the judgment, the Supreme Court as empaneled then had met in conclave. That's my suspicion. Why the Chief Justice will change the panel at the last minute when the parties in the case were anticipating the judgment of the court is a matter that will concern everybody who is pursuing justice. I have said that in criminal cases, the rights of the accused person must be respected. And he has a right to fair trial, fair and transparent trial. And that is in tandem with the maxim which all lawyers recite, that justice must not only be seen to be done, but must manifestly be seen to be done. In this particular case, well, it raises serious concerns, and I think that everybody must be interested.
Corridors of the Electoral Commission, they have also dismissed accusations by the president of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, that it intentionally disenfranchised the people of Central Fee, Akwafu, Lolobi, and Lekpe, also known as SAR, in the 2020 parliamentary election. It will be recalled that on December 6, 2020, just a day to the general election, the EC directed that residents of SAR areas only vote in the presidential election. The constituents have been since without representation in parliament. Now, on your screen is a copy of the EC statement that is, reacting to the Imani statement that the legislative instrument, according to the EC, which created the Guan district, part of SAR, was laid in Parliament on October 6, 2020 by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. It matured on the 9th of November 2020, roughly a month to the 2020 general election. Parliament went on recess on the 9th of November 2020, the same day the LI creating the Guan district matured and returned on the 14th of December 2020, 1 week after the 2020 general election. And for that reason, the EC says that on the 10th of November, the Electoral Commission received a letter from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development informing it of the creation of the Guan district. The letter requested the Commission to take steps to create a new constituency. And the EC says that the Commission drafted a new CI, that's constitutional instrument, to bring into force the Guan constituency, and forwarded a draft CI to the Attorney General Department for its review on the 13th of November 2020 as required by law. And so for them, it's important to state that for a CI to mature and come into force, the law requires the Electoral Commission to lay the CI in Parliament for 21 sitting days. This means that Parliament should be in session during the 21-day period when the CI is laid. And with Parliament on recess, the Commission could not lay the CI to bring the one constituency into effect as required by law in 2020. And so the question, they say that how could the Commission proceed to create a new constituency when Parliament was on recess and when the law required the Commission to lay the CI before Parliament for 21 sitting days. And they are urging the public to verify information put out by Imani with the Commission for the truth and the facts. Right, so that's the Electoral Commission's response to Imani Ghana, detailing the processes and the reason why it was unable to do so before the 2020 general elections. But away from that, the Cross OMA Basic School in the Adjusted Municipality of the Ashanti region lacks basic academic resources, making it hard to provide quality education. A common feature among the people is worn-out uniform and walking barefooted to the already dilapidated school compound. And Ponsa Efa Pharmaceuticals has intervened to renovate the school building and provide the students with learning materials to improve the quality of education in the school. Here is a report by Clinton Yabua of Love FM.
The Krasi MA Basic School is situated in a secluded area of the Adjusted Municipality in the Ashanti region. Residents are mainly smallholder farmers and traders. The school has a student population of 286 in kindergarten, primary and junior high levels. But the school buildings are not in good shape. The headmaster, Evan Sanan, says some pupils are unable to afford school materials, impeding their learning outcomes.
It was beyond horrible and terrible. But you get to the school and then you see the filthy environment. I mean, talking about the walls, the children walking bare, some be walking from so many miles down to the school without even chalawete. The uniforms, I don't know what color can I give you to the uniforms. Seriously faded. Some don't have it at all. It's going to help us. 1,000 exercise books. It's going to help the children because sometimes as a headmaster, I'll be going around to see. You go to class 2. Girl, boy, what's your book, exercise book? I don't have. And the parent is staying far away, so many miles away.
A needs assessment conducted in the school informed an intervention from Amponsa Efa Pharmaceutical Limited to renovate the dilapidated areas of the school, including the headmaster's office. The company donated teaching and learning materials, including a printer and exercise books. The school also received 200 school uniforms, 15 sporting jerseys, and 100 pairs of footwears. Head of Marketing at Amponsa Efa Pharmaceutical Limited, Fojifa Ametime, says the intervention forms part of the company's corporate social responsibility.
As a company operating within Ajiso municipality, it behoves on us and through corporate social responsibility to find institutions, individuals and organizations around the operating area that need assistance. So we've been doing it every year, and luckily this year the lot fell on Okrasi Basic School. So we came here first to look at their condition. We scanned the environment to see which areas they would need our help, and we went back and reorganized and then came back to assist.
The headmaster of Krasi MA Basic School, Evan Tanan, appreciated the gesture to aid teaching and learning.
This is a rural school, but the package Amponsa Efa Pharmaceutical Company has brought, I think we go beyond the line. We are building a library. Look at the kindergarten, the KGs. They don't have playing ground. Soon as we get them, I think we will equate ourselves to those schools at Accra or Kumasi.
Community members, including chiefs, the headmaster, all believe the intervention will go a long way to improve the learning outcomes of kids and students here. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Clinton Yabua.
Now, still staying with education, if you are a parent or teacher who has struggled with educating your child, relief is on the way. The Institute for Education Planning and Administration at the University of Cape Coast is finalizing a proposal for the Ghana Education Service to adopt a new teaching and learning method aimed at simplifying education in the country. This initiative comes after extensive consultation within the education sector, which identified existing challenges and proposed effective solutions. There is more in this report.
Pedagogy, the method and practice of teaching, is essential in education since it serves as the foundation around which good teaching and learning revolves. The main aim of pedagogy is to build on previous learning of the students and work on the development of skills and attitudes of the learners. Pedagogy enables the student to get a thorough understanding of the subject and helps them in applying those learning in their daily lives outside of the classroom. In a policy dialogue on innovative pedagogies for foundational learning, Director General Michael Boachi-Yadom says the innovative pedagogy project, after a research conducted, has come up with ideas to approach the treatment of children differently.
Once you know the characteristics and the nature of a particular child, then you decide which way to go in terms of supporting them in the school system, in their growth and development. When they go against the school rules, you don't apply the same disciplinary process because they are different and they must be treated differently. So that is all that we are saying. And we conducted a research with support from Education Development Center, now LGI. And we've come out with very brilliant, beautiful ideas. And I'll just say one of them. Again, that children are different and we must find different ways of teaching them. As we have it now, I mean, we are doing very well as a country at that level, but we need to do more.
He reiterated that government alone cannot adequately finance education despite commitment from the president to enhance basic education.
We know government has done some work, and Prof. Anamwa Mensah talked about that. We also know that government resources are limited, and government alone is unable to finance education. And I remember in 2021, the president made a commitment at the World Education Forum in London to commit about 23% of Ghana's budget to education. We haven't achieved that. The following year after that declaration, we came down under 20. We are still not at 23%, an indication that government alone cannot do it.
He therefore called on players in the sector to invest in basic education.
Let us continue to provide the resources. Let us continue to invest in our public education system. Let us support investment in private education system, because when both of them get better, then Ghana's education also get better.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Education John Ntimfodjo has pointed out some development in Ghana's education sector. He noted an improvement in education enrollment and praised Ghana's curriculum as second best in Africa.
We have also embarked on very ambitious but very effective reform in our curriculum. And TTEL, Robin Todd, has always had every occasion he gets to speak, he has boldly contended that Ghana's curriculum, as in our pre-tertiary, from the standard-based curriculum to the Common Core and the current secondary education curriculum that is under implementation, teachers being prepared for, are the second best curriculum system that we have in Africa, next to South Africa.
He further emphasized the need for innovative pedagogies in teaching and learning to address diverse needs and abilities of learners, highlighting the importance of adapting education methods to individual students.
The evidence from the Innovative Pedagogy Project will inform us as Ministry of Education the key areas that we need to pay attention to, and we need to develop the competencies of our teachers further in ensuring that across the country we are able to have a very effective implementation of the already fantastic curriculum that we have. When it comes to the foundational level, we have a standard-based curriculum that has the tenets of critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. But it's so key, the techniques to deliver instruction out of this content, to the learner in a manner that is very engaging for every learner, in a manner that is inclusive, to be able to address the different needs and abilities of our learners.
The dialogue sought to suggest ideas which could be implemented for the betterment of foundational learning for Ghanaian children.
Now, on May 15, 1979, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings made headlines as he led his fair uprising in an attempt to overthrow the military government led by General Frederick William Kwesi Akufo. The coup ultimately failed, leading to Rawlings' imprisonment, public court-martial, and a death sentence. A former member of the PNDC, Sergeant Aloga Akapore, has been explaining to Raymond Akwa on a yet-to-be-aired interview that is coming up pretty shortly how this event marked a pivotal movement in Ghana's history.
People thought that was what we were planning. And then we realized that no, it wasn't. You see, it was somebody else had also done something, and it turned out to be Rawlings' one. So it had nothing to do with June 4th. So that plot was still going on. You see, the June 4th plot was still going on. What 15th May did was to validate our idea of trying to do something. And for 5BN, if I must tell you this, is that when Achampong was overthrown, we were not happy in 5BN. But Achampong was very popular amongst us. So by plotting to get rid of Akufo, we thought we were trying to restore Achampong in some way.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is the truth of the matter. You can ask the core 5BN people, they'll tell you.
Like who specifically?
Oh, you know, Tasiri is not well now. Mark Atenga, I think is passed on. Most of the people have passed on. Banchamfo, you can ask Banchamfo. Okay, yeah, Banchamfo is still around, and the others are abroad. Skido and others, they are all abroad now in America. You see, but that was the truth of the matter. You see, so
that by trying to remove the SMC2.
Yes.
You were thinking you
are punishing them for overthrowing
SMC1, yes, which is really a Champon period.
Yes, our father.
Oh, you call the Champon your father?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was nice to us. His wife on Saturdays would actually stay there and cook in his house for us.
Oh, I see.
We escorted his children to school. They were very modest, a very modest family. And we liked them. Yes. You see, he had his bits, you know, here and there, but generally, he was good to us.
And I guess you want to hear more of Akatapore's, you know, events, recounting of the events. That interview airs tonight at 6 p.m. on Upfront with Raymond Akwa. You don't want to miss this. But that's our show this afternoon here on The Pulse. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. Stories on myjoyonline.com. Ghana Gassi, you are not under any sort of pressure to sign $812 million deal. Akufo-Addo government has mishandled small-scale mining sector. That's according to former President John Mahama. Limited registration Kukum chiefs invoke cases on perpetrators of recent violence. And of course, Parliament kicked against taxes on reagents for dialysis, didn't approve increment. That's according to the ranking member on the Health Committee. Well, that's it. Tomorrow, same time on Thursday, we'll be here with you on The Pulse on Joy News. But whatever you are up to in the hours, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Bobe. Have a good evening and do take care of yourself.